Welcome to Consulting Mastery, where we help B2B consultants master the business of consulting. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Ahmed. Join us as we explore the art of delivering outstanding client value, earning a higher income, and thriving in today's marketplace. Want to give you folks a lens into looking at who your ideal clients are. And there's two types of clients that we're going to identify and explore. And I want you to think about who you sell to and who you want to be selling to and what the differences are between these two types of clients. All that and more coming up on this episode of Consulting Mastery. If you are looking for help growing your consulting business, building a consulting pipeline, go to 90daypipeline.com/talk, and we will have a chat and see if we can help you. Interesting conversation came out of one of my recent consultations with this particular consultant would have been in a technology related service, and the details are escaping me right now. But one of the pains that she shared with me, I thought was very interesting. She said, a lot of our clients, and I remember this is in the cybersecurity space. So a lot of our clients, they're just looking to check a box, right? So think about cybersecurity. The board wants them to have a strategy, so they're checking a box, right? The board said to do this, so we just want to check the box. Or a lot of our clients are selling into, in the context of like a software application, they're selling into the enterprise, and the enterprise wants to see our cybersecurity protocol. So they don't really care about the security of the app. They want to check the box so they can make the sale. And one of the things I said to this particular consultant was, you need to decide if you want to sell to the box checkers or the results getters. And there's no wrong answer in my books here. Like you could build a great business selling to box checkers, selling to the people that, in this case, the directive came down from the board that we need this, so they didn't want to do it. Or, their client wants this thing, and so they're going to do it, but they're just checking the box. They don't care about the exercise. I think you can build a reasonably good business. It has consequences, and we can get to that, but you can build a decent business. But it's very different from selling to people that are genuinely interested in getting results. Those two types of clients could not be further apart.
Yeah, so the first question that I can see being asked, right, when you start to think about that is, why does it matter? And so let's talk about why it matters, because it's really easy to think that you're going to find all of those same people, or all of those people in both groups in the same place, right? It's easy to think that having the same conversation with people who are box checkers versus people who are results getters is going to have the same result, because they have a lot of commonalities, right? Probably their role, like their job title and the kind of organization they work for, and all of those things that are easy to figure out. You can be fooled very quickly into thinking that they're really part of some homogeneous group when they're not. And if you are, to your point, going to work with the group you want, whichever group it is, you need to get super clear about what the differences are. And that requires some effort.
And I think that's the tricky part of this, is demographically, they look very similar.
Yes.
In the case of this particular client, but my contention is this will apply to every industry. Mm-hmm. In every industry, in every market, regardless of the service, there are box checkers and there are results getters. And they demographically may look the same persona, same title, same company size, same all these things. And the reason why it matters is because what you say to attract the box checker is very different from what you would say to attract a results getter. Okay. What do box checkers want? They want the cheapest option. Because if I'm checking a box,
least amount of attention has to be paid to it. Absolutely. Yeah.
The least work, right? If I'm checking a box, I want the cheapest solution with the least work on my part and the least risk and the shortest timeline. And I don't really care about the efficacy of the solution as long as I get my box checked and my certificate and my thing I can provide to the powers that be to show that I did the thing that they asked for. And again, to be really clear, I am not disparaging that market. You can build a great business. Any kind of compliance business is based on box checking. Take taxation as an example. I mean, maybe it's a bad example, right? Like there is an element of you want to work with a good tax expert to maximize your refund and tax efficiency. There is that side of it. But at the end of the day, you do have to check the box, right? Like compliance is necessary. And that's a whole market industry based on box checking. Nobody wants to do their taxes, but they have to do their taxes, right? And so it's a box checking exercise. So I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm saying the way you communicate with a box checker is very different, because what results getters want is, one of the things that we try to communicate in our marketing and certainly in our enrollment process is this is not easy. Working with us is not easy. It is not an easy button. It is hard work. It is not for everybody. It might not be for you. This is not for the faint of heart. That's a results getter message, because results getters understand that results are hard to come by. Talk is cheap, but results are hard to come by. So if you want to attract a results getter, you are better off being very direct about what is required to get results and what risks you will face along the way and how you plan to mitigate those risks with the client, which if I'm a box checker, that's going to send me racing for the hills. Like I'm going to get scared away real quickly because I just want the box checked. So the messaging is fundamentally different.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it really comes down to authenticity, right? And integrity of message. Because to go out to your earlier point and say, I'm in cybersecurity. It's going to be a terrible example because I know nothing about cybersecurity. But the solution I have is that you are going to have the certificate. You are going to have the language that you can, put in the RFP. You're going to have whatever it is that you need, and you're going to have that in a very short period of time. That is an authentic message that is going to attract a particular kind of person, in this case, a box checker, right? If that message is not authentic to you, that's where things start to get a bit sketchy, right? So if the message that is authentic to you is, we're going to dig in deep. We're going to make sure that you are in the safest possible position. We're going to make sure that we close every single gap that we can possibly predict. We are going to follow best practices. We stay up to date on, sort of the cutting edge of what needs to be done in this industry. That's an authentic message. If that's the authentic message to you, then you're going to get people who are interested in that. And so, we talk about it initially from the lens of your marketing, right? Your communication. But this is also a time to remember this is the business you are going to run and work in and, expend your energy on for a significant amount of time. And so, be smart about what that message looks like and, be in a place where you can stand firmly in it and, have the faith in yourself to be able to deliver the thing you're delivering, and therefore continually bring in the people that you want to continue to support and impact.
Well, and I started off this conversation saying I don't have an opinion on which one you choose, and I think I do.
You do. You absolutely do.
Well, but it depends on the person too, right? So let's talk a little bit about pros and cons. Okay. Yes, I have an opinion because I've chose to build a business around one of those two markets, and that is the results getters. And somebody else might have made a different decision. First of all, both audiences exist in every market. There are box checkers and there are results getters. I don't think you should consider concentration in your decision. Both audiences exist in every market. You can build a viable business off of either market. Now, when you're selling to box checkers, you're going to invariably face fee pressure. They're going to want to pay as little as possible. You're going to be more at risk of commoditization, although I think there's still ways to decommoditize. There always are, but you're going to be more at risk of commoditization and fee pressure. And understand that you're really not bringing in partners. They don't want to be part of the work. They don't want to be involved. They don't want to have a stake in it. They just want it to get done as quickly and as painlessly as possible. And so typically the consequence of that is you will need to do more volume in order to you'll need more clients at a higher volume to make the same amount of money you'd make with results getters, because box checkers will pay less and they'll want to commoditize you. So, you'll need to do more volume. You'll need to work with more clients to make a certain amount of revenue. And chances are those engagements will not feel very collaborative. It's more like, I pay you to do a thing, so do it. And so that's a model. Can still make money, can still be profitable, can still scale, can still do all those things. Okay. And I think if you're going to run that model, you probably ought to see yourself as more of a business operator and less of a consultant. I think if you see yourself truly as a consultant, you might die a little bit inside running that model, because you're working with clients who ultimately don't care about the results to a certain extent. The results getter model, typically lower volume. You don't need as many clients because they're willing to pay a premium. They're willing to pay more because they're invested and committed to the results. They're typically more collaborative. It feels more like a partnership. They're more hands-on with you trying to get the results. And again, higher fee, lower volume. You're now more involved in the work. Because if you really are passionate about the work, about getting things done and collaborating with clients, likely a better fit for you. We chose that market for the simple reason that their results are better. And not a surprise, hopefully, right? Like, results getters tend to get better results. And our business is by and large built on the back of social proof. So we have now hundreds of testimonials from results getters who got great results. Whereas if we were serving box checkers, the social proof and the results that we could prove out would be not as compelling. And so that's one of the many reasons why we chose that market. And I will say, for a lot of B2B consultants, that's probably who you should be looking at, but I'm still opening the door for, there is a certain type of person who's more of a business operator who can certainly thrive in a box checking market.
As you were talking, it strikes me that we're also oversimplifying this, because
No, never. We never do that.
People, no. Podcasts never do that in general. What is not going to happen is, for the most part, someone is going to walk up to you and very clearly identify which group they're in. And there are a lot of box checkers who either fancy themselves to be results getters, or know they need to be a results getter, but really just want to check the box. And so you also need to be able to figure out how to identify between the two. Because, and this happens to us occasionally, every once in a while, we'll end up with a box checker who we thought was a results getter. And to your point, results are challenging, right? They want to walk away with the certificate, but not necessarily the pipeline, the thing that we're working towards. And so, I think we're pretty good by this point at asking, some astute questions that can let you know immediately from day one. Or if that doesn't happen, very quickly, when you start to see certain kinds of behavior, asking the questions that will help you identify really what's going on. And if you try to treat a box checker like a results getter through your engagement, you're also in for a world of pain. So, it's worth teasing that out, both in the pre-engagement conversations and also, if you're starting to work with someone and you start to see some red flags, this is something that you need to get really good at understanding, whichever way you're aiming, so that you can ensure that you're able to support them and deliver the results that they need.
Yeah, 100%. So here's what I would do as some homework. If you're listening to this, I would go ahead and make a list of, if you've been in business for longer, make a list of, 5 or 10 of your most recent clients. And if you haven't been in business that long, make a list of all your clients, right? But make a list of 5 or 10 clients, maybe the better ones, right? The ones that stand out to you as being good fits and did good work, and you were, you're pleased to work with, and pricing was strong, etc. And put a label on each of them. Were they, a BG or what? BC box checker, right? BC for box checking, and RG for results getter. And here's my contention to you: is probably your better clients were all results getters. And I'm open to being wrong, but I think either way, what you come up with there in terms of where do your clients typically lean is going to be informative and illustrative. and hopefully should set you off on a strategy to go out and get more of those clients.